you learn about discrete and continuous random variables, okay? Now, so the number of people attended Mass every Sunday in Delhi Cathedral for the last 12 months. For example, for the past year, you have observed, por ejemplo, ojalá pesquisa ne o akara katene, setiap domingo ia tina inde nelara ne ema na hira ma ba atende misa ia katedral Dili na ba. Na ojalá observação ne ba ia 12 bulan. Ne cada domingo ne o nota saya o akara hatene ema na hira ma ka atende misa ia ka domingo ne. Okay, itene random variable है ने मसाइरा. इतने random variable यह आने साइरा.
Random 12 months.
No, what is the random variable here? What are you taking? What is the thing, the quantitative value that you are measuring or you're assigning a value to?
Oh, the number of people.
Yes, the number of people that what attended Mass every
Sunday
for the past 12 months. Now, what is the random variable? Is this a discrete or a continuous random variable?
Continuous.
Again, number of people. What's the difference between discrete and continuous?
Well, continuous, like it varies, but discrete is it sticks to just specifics.
Okay, so again, number of people, is that discrete or a continuous random variable?
Discrete.
Discrete. Why discrete? Because you cannot have 1.345 people. You cannot have 2.678 people. You can only have 1 person, 2 person, 3 person, 4 person, 5 person, 6 person, and 10 person or something, and so on. Comprende, galera?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, what about the length of bamboo cut in the forest? What is the random variable in letter B? The random variable na masayda.
The length of the bamboo.
The length of a bamboo. Is this a discrete or continuous?
Continuous.
Why?
Because it constantly grows sizes. It varies in
Yes.
size. So.
Because you're using an equipment to measure the length of a bamboo. How do you measure the length of a bamboo? You're using a meter.
Yeah.
Okay. Y Michelle, ya comprende, comprende entre continuous random variable and discrete random variable. Comprende though? Okay, for example, now what is the probability distribution and why is it important? You learn about probability distribution, right? So for example, in semana primero, por ejemplo, you counted the number of people attended Mass every Sunday in Delhi Cathedral for the last 12 months. Yeah, sorry. 12 months or 13 months, for example. Semana primero, observa katak, iha 464 ema makabatuir misa. Semana segundo, observa katak ema totalnya 540. Semana tercero, observa ema totalnya hira 512. So, for semana 15 nyo, observa 445. Okay? To hene, tabela na yung bila comprende ka na?
Yes, teacher.
Tabela iha tabela limang karok ni, ida kolom primero ni hakirek week, kolom segundo ni indika saja?
The
Number
number
of people, teacher.
The number of
Number of
people,
people.
what?
the tuir misa
Who
ne.
Participate
attended
misa,
mass.
teacher.
Kada?
Cada semana.
Kada domingo, kada semana. Depois, o foti dados neto, fulang hira ni larang?
One.
Yan na ba, hakirek
Less.
naman? 13?
Last 13 months.
13 months.
13 months. How many weeks in 13 months?
15.
No, how many weeks is in 1 month?
4, teacher.
So how many weeks is in 13 months? 4 times 13. What is it? 250.
52.
2. Yes, so you will have a 52. So your week, the table will continue until 52 weeks, correct? Lo, kala maybe tambi tene PowerPoint eh. Lanaro kau simplifica de tiene, comprende to? Y
Yes, teacher.
después, how halote how the frequency distribution table ne how makalote na. Maybe imi haten halote na, sana imi haten halote na lo sala. How
Yes, teacher.
how I have developed my frequency table where between 431 to 463 people, I have a frequency of 9. And then between 465 to 499, I have a frequency of 15. And so on. And then 467 to 600, I have a frequency of 2. So the frequency total must be total to 52. Where do you get this 52 coming from? 52 ilan
Uh,
Coming. Sí.
Total 52 ilan eh.
Calc.
Total sama domingo.
Total weeks, number of weeks in the last
Wait.
13 months. So that
Yes.
तो हने comprende que la तो इतने frequency ने साइडा frequency ने साइडा इतने frequency describe साइडा maksudnya describe number of weeks for a specific range of number of people lo segala
Yeah.
nebe hane se imi tabela karik atau bukan ini ya probability karik kan sana ya lo segala so imi desenvolve look probability lo segala imi desenvolve look probability dan ya. Okay, 0.1731 yang manusia nebe. Yang manusia nebe dan
9 divided by 52.
Yes, very good. 9 divided by 52, you get 0.1731. And then 15 divided by 52, you get that divided by that. But probability distribution function means you have your x variable is this one, the number of people. And then this is your frequency. This is your frequency distribution. This is not a probability distribution, correct? So how do you turn frequency distribution into a probability distribution? Now, if you look here, tambah ito niya number of people na o ito diyan discrete ka random continuous variable.
Continuous.
No, ito niya o ito din number of people na discrete ka continuous
Discrete.
discrete. So when you have a frequency distribution for a discrete variable, the table, the distribution, it will be like a rectangular shape like this, box like this, okay? Don't remember that. But here may figura makanesane that represent a discrete variable. Agora, it doesn't have frequency distribution, but this is not a probability distribution. In order to turn this frequency distribution into probability distribution, what do we need to do? All you need to do is change the y-axis here. From frequency, you change it with the probability P of X. So now this is what you get. Okay, instead of having a frequency in your y-axis, right now, what is in your y-axis here? What is in the y-axis?
Probability.
Probability of what? Probability of, if I were to ask, for example, after 1 year, right? I were to ask, okay, what is the probability that if I go to Dili Cathedral to attend mass, what is the probability that there will be a total of 499 up to 532 of people that will attend the mass? Can you guess that, people? Can you guess that with probability?
No.
Yes, you can actually,
Oh, you
because you have developed this probability distribution function, right? So if you say, okay, if I want to guess what is the probability of the number of people that will attend the mass between 499 to 532 people, so the probabilities will be somewhere around over here, yeah? Okay, so that means you will have a probability of somewhere over here, yeah? About 26-27% probability that the number of people are going to be between 499 to 532. I know this is not an exact figure, but in mathematical sense, that's a pretty good guess, actually. Comprende, galera? Any questions?
Yes, teacher. No,
Do you understand what is a probability distribution now, right? We already learned this in last week. We are just still in review. We are not talking about our normal distribution yet. So you are now understanding discrete variable, continuous variable, and now you understand the probability distribution functions, or PDF. Now, what is a PDF again?
probability density function.
Yes. What do you have in the x variable and x axis of your PDF? X axis is your what? Your random variable. Your y axis is your probability.
Probability.
Okay, so in PDF, your x axis is your random variable, whatever random variable that you work with, and then your y axis is your probability. ¿Comprende esto? Preguntas?
None, teacher.
Any questions? Alrighty, next. Now, probability and area under the curve. So now that you understand, so basically what you have learned so far is that you have, when you study about probability, you can develop actually a table where you have your x-axis is your random variable x, and then your y-axis your p of that x, okay? And this will represent with a table, with a figure, correct? With a figure of some sort, and this is what you call, for example, this look like this. For a discrete, that's what it looks like. Okay, for a continuous random variable, it will look like this. That's what we are going to talk about in this chapter. But before that, this is what you call a probability distribution function, okay? Basically, what probability distribution function is, x-axis is your random variable, y-axis is your probability. So that means if I want to find the probability for specific random variable, I just have to correlate it to a point where they both meet. So if you go back to the example, like I said, if I ask, what is the probability that when you go to mass, you will find the number of people is between 567 to 600 people that will attend the mass? What is the probability of that? And how do you find that? Can you find that? Yes or no?
Yes.
Where do you find that? Where do you get that probability value? From the y-axis of your
From the wire.
PDF. Right? So basically this is the region here. So that will be around 0, that will be 0.025-ish, right? So around 2.5%. So there's not a very likelihood that the people will be greater than 567, because the probability of that occurring is. So basically what it says here is that, so now that you know that, what does probability density function tells you? It correlates between your random variable and your probability, right? Comprende to, Idanene? Ano explica sa akin, Idanene?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, so now that you understand this, but there is a direct correlation between the probability and the area that is under the curve. Yeah, the area under a certain curve and a probability has a relationship with that. Okay, just quick review. Again, probability can only be what? Represented in a value between 0 to 1. If you have a 0 probability, that means an event is impossible to occur. If you have a 0 probability, that means a certain event is impossible to occur. If you have a probability that is below 50%, you can say that unlikely to occur. If you have a probability that is higher than 50%, you can say likely to occur. If you have a probability of 1, you are certain that it will occur. And the total, so that means if you have a table, right? If you have a table where you have x is your random variable and your p of x is your x variable, and then this is your probability, what is the total area of this curve? Any guess? The total area of this curve is what? It's simply
Sure. 1.
1. Why 1? Because 1 is the maximum number of probability that you can write. Comprende to? That means,
Yeah.
so that means, so you have here, if you have a probability distribution function like this, correct? So your x-axis is where your random variable occurs, and then your y-axis where your probability distribution functions are, right? So that means if I want to say a specific, then I just go to here, I just correlate this to this. So this is my probability corresponding to these specific points of my random variable x. So that means everything, every value that is under this curve, the total of all the possible probability is equals to 1. That's what we mean by the total area under the probability distribution is. So technically any PDF, yeah, total area under a PDF probability density function is equals to 1. Comprende, Gale?
Yes, teacher.
So remember, total area under a probability density function must be equal to 1. All right. Now that you understand that, let's study about what is the relationship between a uniform. What is the relationship between area under the curve and a probability? Okay. Now, so this is a uniform distribution. Okay. Now, Euphrasia, read this for us.
A continuous random variable has a uniform distribution if its values are spread evenly over the range of possibilities. The graph of a uniform distribution results in a rectangular shape. The objective in studying uniform distribution is to show the relationship between area under the curve and probability. Probabilities can be found by identifying the corresponding areas.
Okay, so what does this say? So a continuous random variable has a uniform distribution if its values are spread evenly over the range of possibilities. Uniform distribution katak every event has equal probability of occurring. Okay, I will give you an example in a minute. Por ejemplo, Nesane, okay? Por ejemplo, Nesane, Ildefanus, can you read this for us? Home power supply?
Home power supply. The Hera power plant provides electricity with voltage levels that are uniformly distributed between 123.0 volts and 125.0 volts. There is any voltage amount between 123.0 volts and 125.0 volts. It's possible, and all of the possible values are equally likely. If we randomly select one of the voltage levels and represent its value by the random variable x, then x has a distribution that can be graphed as in figure below.
Okay. So nidiana sane. Por exemplo, power plant ya hera ne. Power plant ide ya hera full eletricidade ba uma sira Timor larang. Los kale? Nebe ba hira power plant ide nene ni halo distribuição be eletricidade ba uma sira turi mini Hanoi. Distribuição be power voltage nebe sira distribui ba cada uma ne voltage ne hanesang ka lanesang. Tidak mungkin ya for voltage ba iha Ildefanus ni uma ne 300 volt, ni for voltage ba Jennifer ni uma ne 100 volts late. Ne los ga masuk akal kalai. No, los galai nebe ni distribui ne voltage nebe ni distribui ne hanesang ho tu keras. Nebe mabe iha per exemplo ida ne ni for kata voltage ida nebe power plant supply ni distribui ni range ne between 123 to 125. Idane la fixo tamba electricidade ini a continuous random variable. It always fluctuates, ya. Idane always be muda tu muda sa nya laos valor fixo ida. Tambi idane voltage ne continuous random variable. Continuous random variable ne kata laia machine ida ne be maka bele sukat exactamente valor ne sa ne duni. Okay, tambi idane maka voltage ne dukenyo 4 valor nebe específico niya for range of values between 123 to 125 volts. To ini comprende kala? Explicação by exemplo ne.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Now that any voltage amount between 124 and 125 is possible. Nebe obaya ema ide niyo uma o sukat o loribe multimeter ida o hakarak sukat e voltagen tama mai hakara uma ne hira. O tu usa machine sa ida date voltagen nebe o hetani niya tenki entre 125 to 123 to 125 volts only. Niya labele kikli 123, niya labele botli 125. Okay? No, probabilidade nebe idane se acontece, probabilidade nebe o se hetang 123.4 por exemplo, one random variable ne nebe se hawakarak atu. Agora one antang se ane sane, antang one random variable ne masaida, one random variable x ne masaida. Voltage supplied, lost to? Lost kala?
Yes, teacher.
Two houses. Okay, so if you want to plot the random variable or probability distribution functions, what is your probability of x? Any voltage amount between 123 volts to 125 volts is possible, and all of the possible values are equally likely. Okay, that means the probability of, for example, on say how many voltage, what is the probability that wahino sukat voltage yung uma idanene niya sa hetang voltage ne 123 volts. What is the probability? Is 0.5. Equally likely. What if you have a probability of 124.9? What is the probability? That's 0.5. If you have 125, the probability of getting any house that measures 125 volt also 0.5. Or you can get 24.1, that's also 0.5. Agora imihare hanem banghira o niya be x random variable maka between 123 or 125, the probability is equally likely and siya probability valor hototo ni hanesang keras. That is what you call a uniform PDF. Uniform probability distribution function. That's why when you plot this in a graph, you will look like a rectangle over here. Maybe any value in between these ranges will always correspond to a probability of 0.5. Comprende ka tapela na figure na nene?
Yes, teacher.
Di Michelle, comprende ka la?
Comprende, teacher.
Okay. Ang tao nga nasa ne, sekari ka nasa ne, o isama ka hawuto hawa to buka, ano yung probability ba especializado específico ida, agora uso fale, então probabilidade sa ida, por exemplo, sa hawa karakuso. Okay, so if I want to ask this question, now that you know the probability, so this is an example of uniform PDF, yeah? So I know PDF, probability density function, okay? This is uniform. Tama sa ida na uniform? Sa ano yata? Why is this uniform?
Because
BX.
0.5.
Because what is 0.5? Because be specific.
They are the same.
The probability of all possible events are the same, equally likely. Okay, so now let's go to do an example. For example, how many preguntas naman eh? Find the probability that a randomly selected voltage level is greater than 124.5. Okay, so if I want to say, so 123 is here, so 124 will be somewhere over here. Okay, so what is the probability that a randomly selected voltage level is greater than, okay, so ito ni x random variable na maka ito niya voltage. Lost to? Lost ka le?
Loss.
Então, se a cara katubuka, what is the probability that my x is greater than 124.5 volts? Nesa ida. Nebe anta hawa kere ko insa. Anta you think ha kere probability ida nebe x is equals to 124.6 plus probability of x equals to 124.7 and so on titik-titik to probability of x equals to 125. Los gale. Ida ne los gale. Formula tu buka probability at respond di pergunta si dalete ne los to.
Yes, teacher.
Nebe sekali kau tu representa ida ne iha. Iha figura ida antang no dia 124 mana 124.5 ne sekitar this somewhere over this region. Los salah. Nebe basically all I want to do is what I want to find is what? Everything that is above this. So everything under here. Let's go. So every value, every possible value that is above 124.5. So let's suppose this is your 124.5 voltage. Okay, so that means how niya formula, how niya equação ida ne maka obele visualiza ya gráfico ida ne. Comprende? Ito hene comprende kale?
Comprende, teacher?
Yes, teacher.
Berarti
Yes.
atuhetan probability ida ne antang o tinggal soma everything in that area. Area ida ne maka o niya probability distribution function. So that means agora ita describe na area abantang se hawakara katubuka ida ne sa ida ne maka 124.5 ida ne maka 125 anto ida ne niya length sada narap ida ne sada. Ha?
0.5.
Yes, 0.5. Lo salay? What about this length?
0.5 as well.
0.5 also, yes. So what is the geometry shape of the shaded region? Geometry rin sa Huh?
Square.
A square. What is the area of a square? The side times the side, or as a square. Berarti tambah meron niya side tanesa, that means 0.5 times 0.5. So you will get 0.25.
Right.
So that means ita bele hatene ita hatene niya total area ne maka 0.25. Berarti itamos bele responde kata probability that x greater than 124.5 is equal to what? 0.25.
25.
How do you know that? Because we know that there is a relationship between an area under the curve of a probability distribution function. This one is the same thing. The area under the specific curves corresponds to a probability of that. That is the objective of me describing you the uniform distribution. Comprende? Ako le lalaki ka pa sila.
Pass the
So,
teacher.
good enough, teacher.
Okay. Any questions?
None, teacher.
Okay. So, layak pregunta sila.
Teacher, ya pergunta siya.
Yes.
105
Kuliah ba?
ida usa ita atwaten 0.5 ida ya leten ita atu hetan usa atu hetan 0.5 ida leten
Idalete nebe?
entre 125 or 124.5 or 125 no?
Okay. So, idanema ka 124.5. Idanema ka 125. O isa mo katubuka distansya entre punturuan. What is the distance between 2 points? Do you guys know how to find distance between 2 points? Huh?
Oh, sir.
Tema yung sunod, Mario. Okay?
Yes.
Ate na buka distance between 2 points kala. Por ejemplo, yan na o niya posição 0. Por ejemplo, Mario. American eh. Lo sabes?
Yes.
Pues o lao, por exemplo, yan na o sida lao para hela. Então, o diyan na o diyan sada 0. Posição na 0, lo sabes? E depois o lao, let's say, o lao, let's call this position A. O lao position B. O niya posição na yan eh. Per esempio, laten 10 meter. O insomma, buca distanza entre punto A o punto B. Huh? How do you find distance between 2 points? Ini mesti daw katen ka? Saya mana ini pre-calculus?
0.
How do you find the distance between 2 points? Okay? Tama na sana fali. Ola tiene 10 meter. Ola continua tamba distanza dane e posisi sene ola ta 20 meter, 20 meter. O insomma, ko find buka distanza entre punto B o punto C ne hira. Ha? Distanza entre punto B o punto C ne hira. Oh, for God's sake. Really?
10.
10. Tama sa'yo naman 10? Tamba?
B plus C.
Ha?
C minus B.
C minus B.
B.
Or we can say
Yeah.
the final position minus initial position. Or left, right over left. Right minus left. Plus to? Ano samo? Yan 10 tamba. Yan kan 10. Tamba 10 minus 0 is 10. Comprende ka le? Distance between 2 points ne. Lost to?
Loso na, teacher. Thank you.
Ang taon 0.5 ne mayo sinabi? Explica to, Mario. Comprende sinabi?
25 minus 125 minus 124.5.
Yes, very good. So that's how you get 0.5. Comprende na to?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other questions? Pregunta Selo.
None, teacher.
Okay, so now
No.
that you understand, what do you understand so far? You understand that the area under the curve of a probability distribution function is correlated. Yeah, they have a direct relationship between the area and the area under the curve and probability is related. Keep in mind, yeah. Keep this in mind, yeah. Always keep this in mind. The area under the curve of a probability distribution function is related. The area and probability is related. Ne comprende ya? Ne labi ang luha ya? Rona kale?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, now that you understand now, so far you remember continuous variable, you remember discrete variable, you remember probability distribution functions. Now you learn a new things about uniform distribution, or you learn that there is a direct relationship between probability and the area under the curve. Okay? Now that you understand all of that, now we are going to study today's topic. We are going to study what you call a normal distribution. Okay, Favan, you read this for us.
If a continuous random variable has a distribution with a graph that is symmetric and bell-shaped, it is called a normal distribution.
Continue.
It is a probability density function, PDF, of a continuous random variable.
Hmm?
The shape of a normal distribution is bell-shaped. It is also referred to as bell-shaped distribution from other references. Usually, normal distribution has y-axis indicate the probability, p over x, and x-axis indicate the random variable x.
Okay, now, bell. Same natin na bell. Bell ide igreja na niya shape ang son. Niya bentu ko insa.
It's a little curvy.
So if you look like this, like in a two-dimensional visual.
Yes.
Lost ha? Lost ka lang. Sino yung
Yes.
igreja na niya bentu ka sa nagalawas?
Lost, teacher.
Lost,
Okay.
teacher.
Yes,
Now-
teacher.
Now, there is another word that I want you to understand. Symmetric. What does symmetric means?
Perfectly shaped.
Perfectly mirrored, not perfectly shaped.
Yeah,
Perfectly
perfectly
mirrored.
mirrored, yeah.
So for example, if I have a letter H like this, okay, sorry. So for example, if I have a shape like this, I'm a very bad drawer, so Bear with me. Okay, sekarang how koa ihane kalau itu di koa te ihane the left side is symmetric to the right side and left side is symmetric. Los galay, sini be story caro color story los ne hane sandit. Nini bentuk geometricamente meni hane sandit. Los galay.
Close.
Yes,
Yes,
teacher.
teacher.
Okay, sekarang how oi. Sekarang how koa fali ihane mas the symmetric ne mane katak nia mirror to each other. Nebe imi hare ihabe probability density about normal distribution ne nia symmetric. Imi hare karik nia symmetric. Se iha clara lo se ne nia sorry ari idanene ho idanene hane sandit symmetricalmente. Losto? So nebe normal distribution ne mane agora normal distribution ne agora ohing imi hare idabe discrete random variable ne ninia PDF ne saira ho bot kota-kota kasane. Losto?
Yes.
Losto? Mas agora normal distribution ne nia laoso na kotak-kotak nia ne linha diretamente ona sane. Então idane laoso na discrete random variable. Então idane ba faliona continuous random variable ona. Okay, nebe ya chapter 5 ya ya sebelum ni sekolah ko naman discrete random variable ni mikro discrete los date. Agora ya normal distribution ne makita bol nara ne mit isturo ko na ba continuous random variable ne. Comprende kala?
Yes,
Nebe
teacher.
ya on x axis ne maka on ya random variable hanesang o kita diyan the length of bamboo ne. On ya y axis ne on ya probability ne. Agora imi hare henene probability ne entre 0 to 1 henene takal 10 pangkat minti kan nebe label yang valornya masih 10 idan ini saya wakarak 2 ini karik apabila kerek vervalikan 2 kali 10 pangkat min 3 which is approximately 0.002. This is way less than 1. Basta? Ini los boldly 1 ya. Nebe label confusão bahira imare letra tabela sana ya. Sabera oke ini 20 dan ini indicate 20 times 10 to negative 3 or just 2 times 10 to negative 2 which is just 0.02. That's what it simply means. Okay? Nebe itane probability distribution function bahira imi hare tabela idane sane idane tabolo naran continuous idane tabolo naran normal distribution. Okay? Comprendo na sa normal distribution?
Yes, teacher.
It's a bell-shaped symmetrical curve. Bell-shaped curve or symmetric and bell-shaped, it's called normal distribution. This is a probability density function, yeah? Idane probability density function ba? Continuous random variable.
Variable.
Ida oing imi hare de igreja ne probability density function ba? Discrete random variable. Losto?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Surprisingly, sorting ne ninya diak ne mane formula idane be usa atau describe distribution idane maka itane formula ne mane. This is the formula for normal distribution. Lucky for you, people have developed this formula. So any probability, ya probabilidades sa idade debe obele calcula probability sa idade usa formula ne. As bahira o hatene ninye only mean, if you know the mean and you know the standard deviation, you can calculate any probability. This x is your random variable. This is your random variable. So whatever random variable, if you know the mean and standard deviation, you can calculate the probability of any random variable. Okay. So I'll repeat. If you know the mean and standard deviation, you can calculate probability of any random variable. Using the formula above. Using this formula. Comprende, guys? Ya kan Ram? This formula is used to calculate the probability of X by just knowing the mean and standard deviation. Hey baby, babe, can you put some water in the fridge, please? Thank you. Okay, so if you know the X, if you know the mean and standard deviation, you can calculate the probability of any random variable. ¿Me comprende, Kale?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, let's do an example. Let's suppose imi tesitia ay bamboo nene ya ay larang na ba? Imagine it ya. Not very practical, but just imagine it. Imba tesi bamboo, e depois imi metro ne imi sukat be bamboo nene niya naro. Okay? Por exemplo, bamboo da fali imi tesi mine niya sukat nene 665.265 centimeter. Bamboo da fali ne naro close imi sukat ne niya naro ne 104 104.62 centimeter, okay? Imi tesi tiap, e depois au iran data nene au tahu Excel tene, depois au calcula husi data ida nene, au hetan tene kata kau ni ming ne mane, nah de standard deviation husi au ni data nene au buka tena. Okay? Atau buka ming standard deviation ni matene nata nata, los kale. Game sila katene.
Yeah.
Imi ateno na to? Au noren tene ba
Sila kata
Yes, teacher. Already know, teacher.
sila katene? Sila katene, o foi exame o ense sena. O sigil ga? O foi exame midterm ne o ense be buka mean, median, share standard deviation sana o hal share maka. O ense o sigil ga?
Naira teacher.
Okay. Então hateno na ka sila.
Atena na teacher.
Okay, good. Okay. Agora hawateno na how ni niya bene. Então, se hawateno how ni mean how ni standard deviation, how bele uso formula idane, sekare kaudiana sana. What is sekare hawa kara katubuka? What is the probability? For example, what is the probability that when I cut any random bamboo, the length of that bamboo will be, let's say, 65.265. Então, imi tinggal substituted valor X na may hene. Imita valor mu ne may hene. Imita standard deviation ne may hene. May tang hene. Imita ya calculate. Idane exponential ya. Idane the e ne. This is 2.17. This is their numero irrationale da emabola ng Euler number ya. Okay? Ne imi hatama valor sa ne ba formula ne. Formula sa ne maka se fo valor. Idane ba imi. Okay? Nebe, bayri mi hataman sa ne, imi sayatan valori dane may siya nebe. Nebe sekarik imi plot, imi halo plot be, imi niya x ne may imi random variable, o imi niya probability. Nasala, sa imi PDF idane, resultado husi imi niya plot, idane magsaysayan sa ne. This will look like a normal distribution. Let's go.
Yes, teacher.
You will be surprising, yeah. Or sila itatama to ihabe. Istuda ko na ba central limit theorem nene, imi say surprise kata. Any random practice, any random, yeah, any random variable, any random event that you guys are doing, anything, say the date, yeah, it will always result in a normal distribution. Any continuous random variable, yeah, any event of a continuous random variable will always result in a normal distribution. That's one of the biggest mathematical discovery of all time. That's the beauty of normal distribution is like sa ida date. Imi siya surprise kata pokoknya aktibidade sa ida makai mahalo meskipun aktibidade ini random ya kata lahi buat tidak mafetan sa everything is random. Mas beba hira imi tahu ihan ini probability distribution function they will look normal distribution. Okay, that we will talk about that later, but for now, you understand that a normal distribution or PDF for normal distribution, it looks like this. So basically, I want to compare. Continuous PDF is like this, where you have the length is your length of bamboo, and your Y is your probability of that random variable. Discrete random variable, it looks like this. See the difference? Ada any difference kali?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, so from this point forward, you will only see the graph on the right. Remember, again, remember there is a relationship between the area under the curve and probability. Okay, and then don't forget your y-axis is always your probability and your x-axis is always your random variable. Understand? All right. Preguntas? Any questions?
None, teacher.
Okay. So standard normal distribution. What is a standard normal distribution? Now, Banhira imi distribui imi niya PDF, sila. When you talk about probability distribution functions, again, repeat, yeah. I want to ask you, keep on asking you so that you remember. What is in your y-axis?
Probability.
Probability. Okay, probability is in your y-axis. What is your x-axis? That's your random variable, right?
Yes,
Now,
teacher.
we know that the y-axis, minimum of y-axis is 0, the maximum of y-axis is 1. Those kalian?
Loss, teacher.
But
Yes,
that
teacher.
we don't have a problem with that. But the problem arises when your random variable, for example, on a random variable ini, ida paling kikiwan 5 ka 1, ida paling bawat 5, 1M, 10,000, for example. Neba hiri mi plot, ida neba ya tabela figura ida karik, ida nene aksine naruk terlalu sa nelos sila, which when you look like it, when you look to random variable, it kind of the graph looks kind of weird. Losta? La dun dia kira. That's why people came up with what you call a standard normal distribution. Instead of representing a random variable x, we will standardize it. It is standardized there. What do we mean by standardized? Instead of random variable is between any random variable value, we standardize it. The value is between just -3 to +3. So that means that on a klarang where you have standardized instead of on a random variable maka x, on a x ni transforma tia value, on a x ni transforma tia ba iha z-score. Okay, nebe iha klarang nene. This is what you mean, but so that means this is your mean is 0 and your standard deviation is 1. That's what the middle value means. Okay, the standard normal distribution is a normal with mean equals to 0 and your standard deviation is 1. 1 net tama sayda. Distancia entre idaneba henemos 1. Pazalay idaneba na ba mas 1. Idaneba henemos 1. Idaneba henemos 1. So distance between every values in the x-axis is 1. So that means if I ask you in an exam, what is a standard normal distribution? What do you answer? Standard normal distribution is normal probability distribution with the mean 0 and standard deviation of 1. And the total area under this density curve is equals to 1. Okay, so what is a z-score? Z-score naman sayda. Z-score is pretty much this formula. So instead of representing, what am I representing nene? What am I random variable nene? Nene x, so sila nene p of x. Agora, instead of representing idane iha x, imitroka idane ba fali? Imitroka idane ba fali? Z-score. Idane na fatin p of x. Okay? Nebe waktu transforma e valor x ne ba z-score mo usa formula idane. Objektivo ne sama saya ma ita transforma te fali ba z-score. No sa itala usa x last nung date tengi transforma fali ba z-score. Oy hadian tama saya? Oy hadian tama saya?
What was the question again, teacher?
Tambah saya memang ita transforma fali ita ni x ne ba z score. Usal ita lauja x lo state. Why
Because
can't
we
we
are
just
because
huh?
we're standardizing the normal deviation.
Yes, we are standardizing it. What do you mean by standardizing? Why do we need to standardize it? Why? Tambah saya dah.
So that way it would be more better.
Yes, that way it will limit the range of your x-axis. Because sekarang kita lah standardize, imagine lo sekali, o ita kuliah kona ba bamboo length, lo sekali, o ita kuliah kona bamboo length. Bamboo length lo tesimai dalam rumah dia ya 10 cm. Baru dalam rumah mai fare to 100 cm. Nebe ini distansi nebe sekarang ko tu plot ihane kari. Teng ne mai hene 100 ne to dalam rumah to kare sorry ne ba narok terlalu. Los to? Los sekali, sekarang gini plot ne.
Yes.
Tamirane me ite tem que have standardized tia. Ne par ite limiti tia duke ida nene valor ida normal da nema arbitrio de dekli ite limiti tia. Fusi negative 3 to positive 3 of that. That indicates what this corner. No transforma atau transforma ite ne random variable x by this corner me ite uja formula da leteng nene. O tem que hatene on mean, o tem que hatene on standard deviation mak foing obele transforma. Okay, nebe agora mi akar kare. Ane data ido em bambu o hing nene. Ane length ne mane. Lo zalai. Debe shane probability ne mane. Okay. Nebe por exemplo, how at transforma how ni valor be 6 ira ne ba iha how ni z score antang how bere dian 65.265 minus 64.103 divided by 20.259 32 idane imse heta sada calculated. Use your calculator. 0.0574. Okay, so every single value can be transformed into every single value can be transformed into a z square. So idane maka muna sa ite fale mene. Okay. Ne to ne comprende kalai? E depois, onde P of X ni la muda ida, probability na fating la muda ida, o tinggal hal standardisasi din ba iha, you're only standardizing the x-axis. Agora, o hine kan, onde naruk bambu ne iha, bambu iha 60, iha 100, iha 200, 300. Agora nene, valor ne entre min 3 to positive 3 lo de, la bot li da nira. Basta? That's what we mean by standardizing, standardized normal distribution. So instead of random variable, so x-axis becomes a z-score here. ¿Comprende, Galay? ¿Preguntas?
None, teacher.
Okay. Então, me compreende na saída mas z-score kasi daw. Z-score compreende na?
Comprendo, teacher.
Okay. So, nebe ita la muda buat tidak ya. Agora imi hare ya. Ito na normal distribution ne ho, the standardized normal distribution ne beda Galay. Mi hare to, beda Galay.
Oh.
Ne figura la beda ida, saída ma beda. The only thing different is the x-axis. This one is in random variable.
Length.
This one is in z-score. You see the difference? The value here is much more complicated in like a lot of values. Agora ini file ini valor ne min 2, min 1, 0, 1, 2, 3 of it. Not as complicated as the length variable. Basta?
Lost, teacher.
In the x-axis ne, in the y-axis na fatin, that's still the p of x, probability of x. X-axis is the same. All right. So for discrete probability, we can determine the probability of specific x. Agora, oing how dia nga nasa name, pahiraw ko liya o buka probability ba iha discrete random variable o bele buka probability ba specific x idaya. Okay? Por exemplo, hawak-hawak at buka, what is the probability of this? Of people going to number of people going to Sunday mass per week is between 499 to 532. Then you can calculate the probability of that specific random variable, which is in this region over here, 0.26, right? Probably 0.26. Yeah, discrete variable, we can determine probability at specific x. This is your x, this is your probability. But we cannot do it in a continuous random variable, or we cannot do it in normal distribution. We cannot do the same for continuous probability distribution function, but what we can do is determine the probability at a specific range. Instead of a specific value of x, I can say, what is the probability that the x is between 60 centimeter and 80 centimeter? Okay, I cannot say, find the probability, continuous random variable, I cannot say, find the probability of the length of bamboo is 60 centimeter. That cannot, because this is only for discrete. For a discrete, for a continuous or normal distribution, you can only find the probability for a range of values, not specific values. You can only find the probability of x between, let's say, 20 to be less than 4x, x less than 40. So between 20 to 40 centimeter. You can only calculate the probability for this, but not for this. Comprende, kalian? Aku lihat ada aku nih. Comprende kalian? Aku lihat saya. La comprende Husi ya? La tahu. Aku lihat bani me comprende kalian?
Se la don't comprende.
La non comprende maksudnya sar mari. Aku lihat main tak.
Yes, teacher.
Entre tabela.
Aha.
Maksudnya la belle defini x equals 60 per centimeter. Então
Artinya,
ita sobeli.
nah itu ya banjiri kita buka probability apa tidak loh sekarang. Example nih sana. Haus nih sana. Probabilidade saída maka banghira mari ba uma niya sa hetam buku statistik rua ihan niya uma. Por ejemplo. Idane obele buka probabilidade idane tambane número buku nene buku rua nene niya discrete variable lo sekali. Então habele akere kata probability x equals to 2 ni habele buka. May be si habele dihan fali probabilidade saída maka banhira hausukat ema ida niya as ne tengki 152.3 cm. Ida nene ita labele buka exactly sama dengan la ita labele buka ya. Ita sobele buka de itine random variable ni between as range ida entre. How labele dehan probability probabilidade ne be ema ida niya as ne probabilidade ema ida niya as ne 152.3 cm. How hakoli na ne how salaw na. Banhira how idane loss banhira okolia kona ba discrete variable. Mabe continuous variable ola bele deham probabilidade ne be ninya x ne ninya as ne igual a 152.3 cm. Idane ola bele kolia ya continuous run. Also bele kolia katak probabilidade saída maka banhira how sukat ema ida niya as ne say entre 160.1 or 165 cm. Comprende kalian? Ni entre valor rua. Dia labele exactamente valor ida de uja sinal igual hene. Comprende han telefone kalian? You guys see the difference? I hope you understand.
Yes.
I hope I understand. I explain it clearly. Y Michelle
Yes,
comprende?
teacher.
Explícane. Again, only for continuous variable, you cannot say probability of specific We cannot do the same for continuous distribution function, meaning for discrete probability, we can determine probability at specific x. Maybe my file, we cannot determine the probability at specific x. You can only determine probability at a certain ranges of x. Okay. Now, luckily for us, Emma desenvolve una tabela con le relação entre linha z-score e linha probability. Buka valor nene tabela ne z-score nene kan. O ne z-score maka x-axis o ne y-axis ne ma probability. O buka valor siya ne usa tabela. Por ejemplo, tabela ida ne mane. Por ejemplo, o ne z-score ne maming 1.3 atau 1.3 1.3 0 ne mane lo saleh. Nemak 0,0968 ne. Min 1.31 ne mane. Min 1.32 ne mane. Min 1.33 ne mane. Min 1.34 ne mane. Min 1.35 ne mane. Ini ming ne mane. Agora, positifnya saya buka kata sekarang kalau z-score maka 2.15 ne mane be? 2.10 mane. 12, 13, 14, 15. This is 15 ne mane. Ne mane ya? 0.9842. Okay, tabela ni imi bele print or sila imi bele ba examen ni imi lori. Okay, tabela ni bele print imi bele balori. Mesti dah saya upload ya Google Classroom para imi bele print. Ne para sila imi halo exercise rumah homework rumah karik imi bele idane. Sekarik imi akarak buka usa Excel ni formula karik mane. And you want to the corresponding. Sekarik imi ha z-score no imi akarak buka ni probabilidade by z-score ni imi usa formula norms.s.dist. Imi ketik iguala tau formulir na ba numusuanan. Sekali kimi ya valor probabilidade no imakara buka z-score corresponding to probability the name. Imi uja formula the name. All right, so let's do an example. All right, let's go. Okay, so find the area under the standard normal distribution curve. What is the area between z equals to 0 and z is equals to 0.98? Z equals to 0 ne mane be? Huh? Ne mane, los ala z equals to 0 ne mane, klarang los ne. Los to? Z equals to 98 ne maka approxima karik somewhere over here, los ala.
Yes, teacher.
Entang hawa karak buka hanya ari dan ne. Entang hawa buka hanya ari dan ne. Ane probability area, this probability area. Over here. Agora, antang hawa buka to hanya z dan ne. 0 dan ne corresponding ma probability ne saida. Hanya z da be dan ne kan z equals to 0.98. Ya, 98 ini corresponding probability saida. Okay, probability of z equals to 0 is ne saida. Probability of z equals to 0.98 ne saida. Ne ito bukan ne be o bukan tabela. Okay, probability z equals to 0 ne mane be? Ne mane? Basta 0.05. Oh, ito ne mas be 0.05. Bukan ne sa 0 ne nyala negatif la positif ito. Probability where z is equals to 0. Ne mane? 0.000. Ne 0.5. Ni mate ne losto. This one is 0.5. What about probability that way your z is 0.98? So you go to 98 is positive, so you go 0.9 is here, 9.0, 9.9, 9.1, 9.2, 9.3, 9.4, 9.5, 9.6, 7, 8, 9. So that will be this value over here. Wait, 0. Oh, in itself 98 or 90? 9? 98 though?
0.98, teacher.
Oh, so that will be this one. So the probability for that for z score equals to 0.98 is what? 0.8365. Lost though? 0.8365.
Yes, teacher.
Okay. By the way, forget this value here, yeah? This one is wrong. This is supposed to be. Then forget this. This is an error. Okay, forget about this. This is just imagine lowest is 0 and this is the maximum is 1. Okay? So that means if I have a, so I have ihane makahani probability of z equals to 0 na ihane. Ada probability of z equals to
Leo.
0.98 na ihane. Saya malah ujian
Control na sa lalo.
dakat kalay. Cipriano, oy na be also na. Cipriano. Also na. Cipriano.
Sen, teacher.
Also na.
Yahuma.
Oy, ihaw man also na. O tuwir class ka o halfal butro mo.
Like, kolega may uman ni magpehas. Kuleo ni.
O diya mako. O tuwir class ka o simutamu. Ha?
Au tuir hela, teacher.
Tuwir
hela
mo
teacher.
tahu atin sound tuwir na o basibuk fala o buat na ba? O baturti ang kwart lara maka tuwir class la dia ko tengi tuwir estrada mak tuwir class ka? Tama saya mo o tuwir class tengi ba tuwir estrada koleon kolega mak tuwir class.
Di school pa teacher be kolega mabulaw ni mahaw.
Okay? Ya ola koi tuwir class dia kliu lali ka tama para lali ka ganggo maselo. If you're not interested to
School
learn,
pa-
then don't coming to class. Okay?
Au tuir hela, teacher.
Okay. Then pay attention. All right, so 0.5 is here, and this point is here. So now that imi comprende na to, insama buka valor na ne, comprende na? Ruan na ne. Ito si tabela na ateno na to.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, and I want to
Yes,
find
teacher.
the area of this. So how do you find this? How do you find the area of these two? So that means, no, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. Okay, I think I made a mistake, slightly a mistake, by the way, but not entirely true. From left to right, yeah. Again, I'm gonna explain it one more time. This is actually correct. Okay, so probability of x between z equals to 0 and z equals to 0.98. Z equals to 0 naman na be? Naman na nelo, salay?
Lost.
Ataw linya
Yes,
ini.
teacher.
So that means that the probability is from left to right. So everything to the left of this line is the probability of z equals to 0. Everything in this red, this area under this curve over here. Okay. Now, probability of z equal to 0.98 is, let me choose different color. It's this guy over here. This is for z equals to 0.98. So that means the area to the left of this curve. So everything in the green. Okay. Oops. Everything in the green, yeah. Everything to the green. But you want to find the probability between that. So this is your 0 point. This is your z-score of 0. This is probability where z equals to 0. And this is your probability of that. So between that, so that means all you want to find is this small region between them. Lots of line. Nebe, how dihang katak? How uja represented in straight line? So from here to this red line is 0.5. From that area, from this 0 to this region over here is 0.8365. So if that's the case, then what is the area between them? What is this area over here? Siya mantene. This is simple, right? Ini may bila calculate. Ah? Valor dia yung ungu, core ungu ni saya. Siya mantene.
0.5.
Hetang sinabi. Okay, guys, this is very, very simple. How do you find that small? Iba hari di dia kami linya ne. Husi dane mai hane ne 0.8365. Terus kaya. Husi dane to hane uto yang miang ne 0.5. Antang ida uang itu ang ane hira.
0.34.
0.34. Kaya tang sinabi Mario?
0.83 minus 0.5.
Very good. 0.8365 minus 0.5, then that's what you got. So at tubuka probabilidad ida ne, that means probability of z between z is between 0 less than z less than 0.98. Okay, you can rewrite this as probability of z 0 between 0 and 0.98 is equal to 0.8365 minus 0.5. Valor hetang hilatan Mario? 0. Valor hetang hilatan calculator. Come on, you don't have calculator. Like ini lah ada calculator ya kan?
0.34.
0.34.
34.
Are you sure?
Or wait. 0.33.
0.3363.
Mine says 65, teacher.
8363, right? Oh, 8365. Sorry.
65. Yeah.
Yo, 3365. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that you know this, can you guys find this? If you buka ida be z ida ne between this one and this one. Okay. So let's delete this region over here. Let's do letter B. Okay, letter B na saya. Ito ba tabela. So probability, let's still use the red color. So probability of z equals to 0 is still 0.5. Nito buka hetan tena. Probability of z equals to 1.77. Tihira. Ito ba tabela. Okay, wait, what was that again? 1.77 to? Yes. So you go to the positive, so this is the 1.7 1.70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 0.9616. Let's talk. 0.9616. 0.9616. So 0.9616. 0.9616. So that means this is your 0 line. This is your this is the region over here, 9616. 1.77 that will be somewhere in this region. Somewhere over here. 1.5 is here. So I'm approximating it somewhere over here. So this is your z equals to 1.77, and this one is your z equals to 0. Basta? So, karak buka makita na eh. Onesang ohing. So all you need to do is probability of z equals to 177 minus probability of z equals to 0. So you will have 0.9616 minus 0.5. What you get?
0.4616.
4616, yeah. So this one is 0.4616. Okay, what about letter number 9? Number 9 probability of z equals to 0 maka sada 0.5 na fating. Probability of z equals to negative 2.14 sada. Ito buka tadi tabela. Negative 2.14 lost to? Yes, 2.14. So 2.1. Pare negative. So 2.1 naman 2.11, 2.12, 13, 14, which is this one. 0.01659. 0.01659. 0.01659. Okay, so that means if I want to plot this in this table, so that will be between 0 is here z equals to 0, and negative 2.14 is somewhere over here. Negative 2.14 is somewhere over here. So this is z equals to negative 2.14. Okay, so that means you want the one this is between these two. So therefore, this is just simply probability of z equals to 0 minus probability of z equals to negative 2.14, which is simply equals to 0.5 minus 0.01659, which is what you get. Zero point 48341. Plus to? Okay, what about number 10? Number 10 is simply halatan ng. Okay, haltog number 13 to. Okay, so 13. Let's say probability to the left of z equals to negative 1 point. Take to the left, yeah, to the left of that. So that means probability the z-score is less than negative 1.39. So that means negative 1.39 is somewhere over here, and we want to know this area over here. So all you need to do is look for the table, actually. Negative 1.39, negative 1.339 is over here, this one. 0.08226. 0.08226, okay? So that's it. What about to the right of z, 14? Probability, sorry, 11, yeah. 12, sorry. Let's do number 12. So probability of to the right of z. So that means z is greater than 2.01. So where is 2.01 again? So 2.01. 2.01 is somewhere over here, right? Lost. This is this line 2.01 is exactly like here. So everything that you go in the table, by here you buka valor, ihat to the left ne. Okay, so by here buka yung valor yung tabela 2.01. 2.01 naman 2.0 naman 2.01 00 2.01 naman 0.9778. Ida na maka 0.9778 ne. May ba ida na los italos buka makida na ita buka maka ida ituang to the right, not to the left. We want to find this region over here. We want to find this value over here. So basically, so that we know that the total area is 1, and we know that the one on the red is 0.977. So we can always find the one on the blue is simply the 1 minus 0.9778. That will get you the region over here. Okay, so 1 minus 0.9778. So you get about 0.0222. Any questions?
No, teacher. Teacher.
Comprende, no?
Yes, teacher.
All right. Alrighty. Oke, hari ini tabela ini nomor 14 to nomor 26 nih. Tuh tadi kali. Screenshot ini nih.
Done, teacher.
Can you send it to group chat later?
Yes, teacher.
Idaneta. Not this one. Just this one. Make this homework number. How many homework do we have? 6.
6. Okay.
This is your homework number 6, yeah?
Yes, teacher.
Homework number 6. Number 14 to number 26. ¿Tú comprende homework number 6 nih?
Comprende, teacher.
Okay, homework number 6 nih. Hatama be. Are hatama sirwe laos at lorong at hatama ti hototu makimiramiramen chat may help. Sebelum deadline hatama nih laos deadline liuti mi hatama la dia marame chat may help. Teacher tambah saya mah hatama la dia. Hatama liuti ne batos nih. Koi mak fodak nih ansa. Pois mah hototu chat may mensagem barbarak lo sitania be WhatsApp makapal barulu. Okay, homework number 6. Wait, did I give you homework number 4 yet? No, we don't have homework number 4. Let's make this homework number 4.
No.
Yeah, let's just make it homework number 6. That's fine. Okay, so the due date for probably next week, Monday. What's Monday? So that means your Monday is my Sunday. So that will be Sunday the 16th. Okay, if I put a Sunday on the 16th at midnight, that will be a Monday morning. So you can do it over the weekend. Yep. Sunday at midnight. And then I will close this after submission. You can submit it after that, and this will be at homework. And then signed. And voila. Done. Okay, homework number 6 is posted. Just upload it. All right. Saya masih dapat katanya khusus punya kolega sila sama halo ini. All right, absentia slide. Okay, so today is November 14. Kwenta ka lang pag-class to, yan na ba? Ademia Leite,
Present, teacher.
Alessandra Silva,
Present, teacher.
Ana Sofia dos Santos, Angelica Fernandez, Antonia Caunan,
Present, teacher.
Antonio de Jesus Marsal,
Present.
Armandino da Silva Gomez,
Present, teacher.
Cancio Lopez, Celcio Cardozo, Cidalia Viana,
Present, sir.
Cipriano Bobo,
Present, teacher.
Eliana Saldaña,
Present, teacher.
Elisa Moises, Elisa dos Reis Moises,
Present. Present, teacher.
Raja Pereira,
Present, teacher.
Evangelito Suarez,
Present, sir.
Giovanni Guterres,
Present, teacher.
Giovanni Moniz,
Yes, teacher, present.
Ildefanos Pinto,
Present.
what's this? Jesuina Amaral, De Rosu,
Present, teacher.
Jose da Costa,
Present, teacher.
Jennifer Pinto, Jose da Costa present, yeah.
Present, teacher.
Josio da Costa,
Present, teacher. Present, teacher.
Jonito Bello,
Present, teacher.
Livania Paula Barbosa.
Present, teacher.
Livania, oh semana hira kau tu ni nusa latih aula.
Ito ni namay.
Dalam 5 titir malu ni tu salah mai.
The presence of Neil, sir, teacher.
Ah?
Teacher, kayo anu ka falta sama teacher nalo na tuiran.
I'm talking to Livania Paula Barbosa, correct?
Oh, sorry, sir. Naya teacher.
Livania makulio hao ni ngalos.
Oh, sir, teacher.
Ito sa makulio. Jennifer makulio hao ni ka?
Yeah.
Ausu Livania Paula Barbosa. Livania ya kale?
Yeah, teacher.
Okay, my question is why is the 5 consecutive classes you are not here? What happened? Okay. Malikias da Silva,
Present, teacher.
Mario Marquez,
Present, teacher.
Natalia Fernandez,
Present, teacher.
Neusa Mendez, Noemi da Silva, Nofiana Ribeiro,
Present, teacher.
Nofiala Mafalda, Paula Ramos, Paulo Sarmento, Remilda da Costa Roso, Serafina Jimenez.
Present, teacher.
All right. Thanks everybody for coming. I'll see you on next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, teacher.